Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rudimentary podcast, the podcast where we take the basic things and make them difficult to understand. That's right. I'm your host, Travis Rude, as always, here with the two co hosts, um, Debate Master 1 and 2. Um, Andy, we're going to start with you. Andy, how are you doing this time around? I was really worried about you, wanted to check on you, but didn't care enough to text you. Wanted to wait till the show. How are you doing without Caitlin Clark news, or did you go out and just find some?
I saw her turn up at a concert. I do believe, didn't she get named Rookie of the Month for July?
You tell me.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
believe so. Snakes, you want to
Okay.
weigh in on that?
Yeah. Did she? I wouldn't see her on a milk carton. I have no idea what she's doing and what she's accomplishing. Sorry.
Well, May and July, Rookie of the Month,
May
Caitlin
and
Clark.
July.
for
There. There it is,
thanks.
folks.
Thanks for the update. I
You
can
better
always
believe
count
it,
on you for that update.
Yeah,
Oh,
you can.
for those of you young listeners listening, Jake's reference to the milk carton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, missing kids. Sad. Wow, we're gonna digress here. Missing people would be put on the milk curtains. All right, that's enough of that feeling. So we're gonna go right over to Snakes. How you doing, bud?
I was great. I was having a wonderful day, and then you two jamokes coming in here right off the bat. Yeah, I'm associating you too. That's your brother down there.
It's like somebody just sat next to you on a park bench on the west side of the U.S. and knocked your acai bowl out of your hands and walked away.
Yep, it's exactly how I feel right now.
You-
Not
you-
happy.
Well, you know what? It could be worse. We could go ahead and talk about breakdancing in the Olympics.
That's true. We certainly could.
And we certainly will, folks.
Whoa, man, here we go.
Spoiler alert.
Unreal.
Spoiler alert. It's great to be back. We're happy to be here. We've got quite a few topics, some big news, both on the entertainment front and on the sports front that's happened since our last recording. So we're going to go ahead and dive right into it. If you see me kind of looking left and then back to the camera, I've got a new setup here.
New
We're trying out.
setup.
Yes, why not?
Yeah.
You know, it happens. We've got to keep this thing going and make it perfect. Make it gold, you might say.
Okay.
Gold standard, folks.
Here we go.
Olympic legends in the making. So at the time of this recording, the Olympics are going on in Paris. The first question I wanted to ask you guys, and I only thought about it this morning when I was following along with golf, the Olympic golf, because I may or may not have had money on a guy who got bronze. Thank you.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
After day 2 when he was in first place and that over $200 payout that was only 2 rounds away from happening.
Yeah.
Yep. And then a guy named Scotty Scheffler decided to shoot 9 under on the final round in Olympic gold and come away with the gold medal. USA, I get it. Love you, USA. I also love money. Anyways, one of the participants who happened to withdraw from that was a golfer named Matt Fitzpatrick from the UK. And he talked a little bit about, he made news. He had to withdraw because of an injury. But before the Olympics, he had made a little bit of news. He said the Olympic gold is not necessarily in every golfer's wish list. And it kind of made me think, for the professional athletes that are in there, what do you guys think of the gold medal? Where do you see that in the pantheon? So Tate, for example, we'll use this exact case. Golf, obviously you've got the 4 majors. You've got the Masters, the Open, the US Open, the PGA. What do you think golf relatively being new to the Olympics as far as that goes? What do you guys think? Andy, we'll start with you on the gold medal for the Olympics and winning a gold for your country.
I don't know. I think ever since professional athletes got involved, I think that took some of the shine off it. I understand, it should be for the best athletes in the world, but it always seemed to matter more to the people winning it in the amateur ranks, before I mean, if it's more along the lines of if the U.S. loses a basketball gold, that's more news than if they win. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just is. It's nice to see. I mean, I think all of us grew up. I remember in '84 when the Olympics were in L.A. and Mary Lou Retton and all those. I remember that being a huge event, and maybe it is now. I don't watch the Olympics, as much as I used to. If it's on, maybe I'll watch something, but I don't go and like, oh, I got to get home and watch the Olympics. To me, it just doesn't. I don't know. I think these fringe sports that we don't get a lot on maybe get the attention. I think that's good. I think we've all seen the meme of the Turkish pistol shooter. That isn't like, I don't know, like he's self-taught, and I think won the silver.
Yeah, in mixed doubles 10-meter. Yes.
Yeah. So yep. And that's what I mean. A few years ago at the Winter Olympics, it was curling. All these curling clubs opened up after that. That thing's been an Olympic sport for years, but you know what I mean? So that part of it's cool. But I don't know if the Miracle on Ice in 1980 is a Miracle on Ice with professional players. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Good call. So, that one I really like. That call I really like.
So I mean that's my take.
Snakes, what about you? What about winning a gold for your country? So just in general, and then a sport like golf. There's, like Andy said, there's professionals in there in many different sports in the Olympics now. But golf has such a rich tradition. So one, winning a gold for your country as a professional versus amateur, but then two, winning a gold for your country and for yourself in a sport that is so tradition based and history based, like golf, where you're not just a U.S. sport, where the Dream Team dominated in '92 and just obliterated everybody. Basketball was a U.S. sport. Now it's a lot more competitive, but golf, you're already at different parts of the world. You're already entrenched in England, in Ireland, the U.S., things like that. So what do you think? What are your takes on that?
Yeah, I'm pretty similar to Root over there, where I think that the professionals are already getting paid and doing that as their profession. They have leagues set up for that, and those sports that don't have those things, like gymnastics, like figure skating, they do like showcases and things like that, but they don't have a means like a professional basketball league or professional hockey league. I think they should keep those to themselves, and kind of like NCAA with the college, those amateur players, they should allow them to do that. We don't have to go in there with the professionals, and then just because somebody else was doing it doesn't mean that we should be competing with amateurs. And then when you graduate from that, you go into your profession as you would with schooling, as you would with most other things in life. So that I would say that professionals don't have a place in the Olympics, in my opinion. I would love to win a gold medal for my country, when it's something to the effect of having leagues of like golf has its own league. I mean, so coming in to sweep all these things out, that just seems. It seems rude. It seems, not you're rude, but rude, crass. It should not be happening. Curt, if you will. So I don't think there's a place for the professionals, but they're doing it, and they're winning, and it's like, yeah, no. I almost said a curse word there. Yeah. No, really. Duh. Of course, the professionals are going to be winning.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing to ever come out of the Olympics, though, is Carl Lewis, and not his performance
Not a
in
singing.
the Olympics, but the Star Spangled Banner. That's got to be one of the greatest misfires in the history of that. Uh-oh.
He promised to make up, and he did not.
I love that right in the middle.
I'll make up for it. Nope. No, you will not. You will double down, my friend.
He did too.
Hey, you got it. Hey, you got to commit. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, that happened recently where there was a singer. I can't remember what the event was, but she was getting death
The
threats.
All-Star game.
The All-Star game. That's what it was.
Yeah, she came out the next day and said she was drunk.
She was drunk. Yeah,
and went into rehab right after it.
Wow. That's a PR getting ahead of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope that she recovers and does well and makes up for it, as Carl Lewis would say.
Yep.
Yeah, her Spotify, Apple Music, after the All-Star break, I forget what the percentage was, but I think it was in the triple digit increase of looking up her music after.
Well, I bet it's probably a lot more popular now. I mean, that's the only time I knew of that person. I'm still misfiring on her name right now, but I mean, that is an infamous moment.
Yes.
And I hope she recovers from it.
I hope so too. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, you had the misfire, but at the end of the day, people want people to do well. Well, most people want people to do well.
Not this one. This guy right here. Have you met your brother?
Oh, yeah. Andy, you mentioned it, earlier. The amateurs or the sports that we may not know a lot about, and you love seeing these Olympic moments. Mary Lou Retton, the pose, followed by the Wheaties box, followed by the talk show appearances, things like that.
Yeah.
Gary Strud landing the vault on one ankle on one foot, being carried off by her coach to win the women's gold. It's moments like that, and then you see the women's 100 meters where a young lady, Layford, I'm going to mess that up, so I'm going to research it, but she won the gold in the 100 meters, the first ever medal for St. Lucia. And those kind of instances, man, those are the Olympic instances that are awesome. And I think being an amateur, gold means everything. And you see some of these countries, I think it's Korea, that's paying $734,000 to any person that brings home a gold.
Wow.
So it's life-changing, not only in the aspect of winning something for your country, winning a gold medal, but monetarily. I mean, that's life-changing money. Whereas in the U.S., I think the gold brings home $7,000. I don't even know. It was some very low number compared.
Are the medals solid gold?
Like the dancers?
Good one.
No, that wasn't a good one.
Yeah,
that was a bad one.
That's dated reference as my milk carton.
Wow, that's worse.
Even further back.
I think they might be. That's a good question. Why would you sell yours?
Well, depends on what I want it for.
Yeah,
okay, let's go into that. Let's if you won the breakdancing gold medal, would you sell it?
The breakdancing gold medal?
Yeah, the breakdance. You've been practicing for your whole life, man.
Yeah. Well, not me.
We're just saying, hypothetically, if you won the gold, you'd be
I don't know. I don't know if I
could.
could bring myself to win a gold in breakdancing. I mean, I could not practice that. I would rather win it. What's another obscure sport?
Skateboarding? Isn't that one, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Surfing?
There's a certain amount of respect that goes with surfing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's a picture of the guy that got 9.9. How incredible was that?
One of the greats ever.
Oh my god, that was an amazing picture. Seeing that moment.
Yeah, that dude. I don't know if you can win the Pulitzer for a sports photo, but what is it? Is that what you get for the photo?
Yeah, you could get one for that.
Yeah, that should get it.
Yeah.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah,
What a shot that was.
That was really cool. Yeah, that's the only reason I know that surf is in the Olympics is because of something like that.
Yeah, there's been some amazing shots. Did you see the still, but then the also video of the women's rugby team when they were lifting, for a play, whatever it's called. But yeah, lifting her teammate up, does a backflip after she catches.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that. Yes, amazing.
And let me give this young lady the respect that she deserves. Julian Alfred was the women's 100-meter gold winner. So
yeah, good for her. Good for her.
First ever for St. Lucia.
Yeah, and the country was watching.
Dude, it was. They were out there in the streets, and
and I didn't get to hear the reaction, but I saw that Adele at her concert stopped the concert to put that race on.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
really.
Oh.
And I bet she wasn't rooting for
St. Lucia.
Yeah. So too bad.
Well, sorry, Adele. I do like Adele though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And I believe her brother, I think I saw a TikTok, her brother is a defensive tackle for Navy. And
so, yeah, I did see that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the coach came out and let him know your sister won gold. And
so he wasn't even watching it?
He was in practice.
They should stop that. It's Navy. What I mean, come on. What's it gonna hurt?
They got to run the triple option, man. Come on.
Yeah, what's it gonna hurt?
Well, we know where priorities are with Coach Root over here.
Yep.
Let's watch TV. Let's take a break.
That right there tells you exactly the importance of the Olympics. Right there.
Yeah.
We got to run this unimaginative offense for Navy, and we need to practice it.
Yeah.
And by the way, maybe he's right because the Olympic gold medal is mostly silver.
Oh, there it is.
A very small percentage of gold. It's plated, but mostly silver.
And that's the current gold medal. Was it always that way?
I don't know how far back.
Okay, because I heard recently when I was listening to a podcast, the guy was talking about wise investments. You were talking about the stock market. The current nickel in the United States costs 11 cents to make.
That doesn't seem sustainable.
Because of the materials that it has. So if you were to buy, this guy bought 30 million nickels from the United States government, knowing this fact. So that the rate of that down the years is going to appreciate even higher because of that. But 30 million to burn on nickels. I don't understand that. But hey,
we're pooling our money.
Yeah.
Too many nickels we can buy.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it sense. Like 11 cents to make a 5-cent piece?
Or what's it cost to make a penny?
Well, I'm guessing less now. It used to be pure copper, but that's through the roof now.
Have you been breaking into homes?
Oh, he's looking it up. Well, Trav, you never got around to your opinion on professional or amateur for the Olympics.
Well, I think if I look at, since I brought up golf, as far as the whole reason for bringing up the topic, I can understand where that golfer was coming from. Being relatively new as far as the sport, to the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
But two, I'm going to go out on a limb, and if you asked a golfer, would you rather win the gold medal or the Masters?
Oh, the Masters.
No question.
Yeah. Or any major. Would you rather win a gold or a major?
Yeah.
It's because that's what they go for. When you're working and you're practicing and you join the PGA Tour and, your dreams are being able to say you won one of those 4 tournaments.
Yeah.
For a guy like Scotty Scheffler, who, he's won 2 majors, 1 major. He's been number 1 ranked for how many weeks in a row. He adds gold medal to his resume. But I'm sure he would like to, trade that in for getting closer to that career Grand Slam.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So but normal, everyday people that work behind the scenes that don't know, like the women's water polo team or the young lady, the women's shot putter who couldn't pay rent. Put on Instagram that she rent was due and she was in Paris and she didn't know how she was going to pay the rent. For both of these teams,
sounds like bad planning.
A young man named Flavor Flav, out of his own pocket, sponsored.
I heard
he sponsored the water polo team.
Yep, and the shot putter. He paid her rent. He said his Instagram said something to the effect of "DM me, I got your rent. Focus on what you've got going." Something to that effect.
Good on him.
Yeah,
Flavor.
That's pretty cool that he did that and be a part of something like that. But I do have a question. About as the gold medal that you're talking about, Muhammad Ali famously threw his into the ocean.
Muhammad Ali was a very outspoken, athlete when it came to, what he viewed as the wrongs or the atrocities, in the world. He gave up. Was it 4 years? Was it 3 years?
I think it was 3.
Was it 3 years to stand on his principles?
Right.
You don't see that a ton.
Right.
But around that time frame, before that, you had Ted Williams. Hey, I got to serve. That's what, guys like Jimmy Stewart, who are top of the game in acting, that served. Yogi served. It's what you did, so obviously for Muhammad Ali, he used that as a platform to bring attention to what he wanted.
Yeah, not to get racial into this, but look at the races of the people that you mentioned and the World War II was a fight against something that we all stood up for because it was spreading communism and trying to take over a world domination from an egomaniac. And Vietnam was not the same situation. And trying to force Cassius Clay, who was Muhammad Ali at the time, and still refusing to call him by the name that he chose to be, was a very disrespectful thing. But you're right, standing on your principles and paying the consequence to that. He didn't try to go on the run. He didn't go up to Canada and do that draft dodging. He stood there exactly where it was, and he accepted whatever punishment he was going to get from it. And I think that's why he's one of the most respected athletes ever that we've ever been a part of, in my opinion.
You talked about a world familiarity with the name Muhammad Ali.
Right.
And then carrying the torch, at the Olympic ceremony. Just amazing. It just brings chills watching him,
and that's after he threw his gold medal away.
Yeah, and to
He's
come
still
back,
lighting the torch in Atlanta.
Yep, amazing. And also with Alexis Onion, the Reddit founder, also with Flavor Flav, helped pay Veronica Fraley's rent. So, just good things being done for these people that have the talent, that maybe need a hand and compete for their country.
Right.
2 out of 3 people on this podcast support everything about the Olympics and things like this. 2 out of 3.
That's all we got to say about that.
Which 2?
I'll let you guys decide for yourself.
Decide.
So now we get into Olympic legends. So we already talked about Muhammad Ali, and this topic was meant to bring up the Olympic legends. The 2 continuing to make names for themselves on the U.S. side of things. Simone Biles and Katie Ledecky. Simone Biles is now the 5th woman of all time to have 10 Olympic medals in women's gymnastics. She's now tied with 7 gold medals for the second most among U.S. women of all time with Allison Felix. She's only behind Jenny Thompson and Katie Ledecky, who have 8 medals.
Wow.
Simone Biles, they won a team gold medal. She won the vault gold medal. She's just, without a doubt, the greatest gymnast of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's any comparison anymore, even if there was. And, she made it a point to tongue in cheek to go and kind of post about some contention with a former Olympian. I believe it was Michaela Maroney that, said
that's a real name. That sounds made up.
Andy,
Michaela Mahoney.
Maroney?
Or am I just thinking of Police Academy?
I don't think.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think it was her that said that. It was another one.
Was it Michaela Stanner?
Maybe it wasn't.
That sounds right.
Michaela Maroney is a former gymnast.
Yes. Yes.
But
yes, Michaela Skinner said it. Michaela Maroney did not say it. Skinner had called this team kind of lazy and unfocused.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And so Simone Biles, my apologies, Michaela Maroney. I know you're probably listening to this or watching it.
That's all right. I got you.
Man.
Yeah.
But so she, just made a response. Simone Biles made a response that kind of referenced that description of the team when they won the team gold medal. But it's you think of dominance. You think of Michael Phelps. You think of Simone Biles. You think of Katie Ledecky. But Simone Biles has a chance to win 2 more golds, I believe, at this, to put her at 9, which would be the all-time women's gold medal count ever.
In gymnastics?
I believe, no, women's gold medal count 8 by Katie Ledecky and Jenny Thompson are the most women's gold medals for the U.S.
Is Ledecky done for this?
I believe she is. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We can double check that, but I think she did when she won yesterday. I think that was it for her. We'll double check. But when you think of Olympic legends, Snakes, you're probably one of the greatest. The greatest.
Thank you.
Yep. What comes to your mind when you think of Olympic legends?
Well, one of the first things is outside of his singing, Carl Lewis. He was incredible for what he did, but also going back even further before our time, when the Olympics were in Germany. You remember that? Oh, you were going to bring that up too?
Well, you take it away.
No, you got the stats. I'm sure. Go for it.
Run with it. See what we did there?
Yeah, good job.
Yeah. Jesse Owens.
Jesse Owens.
Right in front of Adolf Hitler, while Hitler was, at the top in the seats or whatever they called, where the heads would sit and winning and getting the gold medals. 1936 Olympics in Berlin.
Do you know who was second in that? Jackie Robinson's brother.
Really?
Yeah, he was second in that race. So for the race to be something in that Olympics, and then for him to break the color barrier of baseball years later, is quite the interesting fact that I learned quite some time ago. So if you could fact check that on me and see if that's true. I think it is Jackie Robinson's brother. I've been telling it for years, so I hope I've been right. Never bothered with the Google on that, but
yeah, that's great. Let me start it this way. Did Jackie Robinson have a brother? It's good news for you so far. I see a brother of his named Mac Robinson, and he appears to be in a track and field uniform.
Here we go.
while Andy continues to fact check, I will fact check myself. Andy, great call. Katie Ledecky is done, but yesterday was her 9th gold. So she is the alone atop the pantheon of women's Olympics with 9 golds, and she did in an interview says she has her sights on 2028. She wants more.
Wow.
How old is she?
Let's find out.
What she's in gymnastics or swimming?
Yeah,
Ledecky's swimming.
Oh, Ledecky, is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, Ledecky won her 9th gold yesterday. I thought it was
Who wants to come back?
She's 27 years old, so she'll be 31.
Ledecky
wants to come back. Yep, she says she has her sights set on 2028.
Oh, okay.
She's won 4 in a row, right? So that's 4 Olympics. No, that can't be right.
The 14 years, 100-meter freestyle.
No, I mean 4 Olympics in a row.
Yeah, Ledecky won the women's 800-meter freestyle as a 15-year-old the first time.
Wow.
And so she can't be 27 now. That's 12 years, right?
Yeah, 15-year-old in London, then in Rio, then in Tokyo.
Yeah,
okay.
So she must have been 15 the year the first one.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm counting 12 years, but that is 4 separate Olympics, even though it would be 16 years. Okay.
Okay, Funko, keep telling your story.
Huh?
Because in the 1936 Berlin Olympics, Mac Owens finished second to Jesse Owens, finishing 0.4 seconds behind.
Mac Owens or Mac Robinson?
Mac Robinson.
Okay.
Yep. So keep telling the story.
Yeah. Interesting fact alert.
Okay, if we're doing Olympic facts, so the most decorated Olympian is who?
Michael Phelps,
isn't it?
Who now has 0 world records.
Oh,
individual world records.
I had saw when he had one left, a couple days ago when somebody broke one and he had one left. Yeah, now he's
most Olympic medals and no individual records.
Katie still has her world record. I know that.
Oh yeah, the 800-meter. That's going to be. That's going to be.
So he doesn't have any world records left. How many golds or how many medals does he have? Because he beat Spitz, right? Didn't Mark Spitz have?
Yep.
He's got like 22 golds or something ridiculous like that, doesn't he?
He's, I forget what he's at. Ledecky did. She tied Phelps as the first 4-time, or the only other 4-time champion, U.S. champion of an event.
Okay.
Oh my God, Michael Phelps, 23 gold medals.
23.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Oh my God. Well, can you look up like Olympic history and how many people have done that before? Has anybody had that many gold medals?
No, he's got the most, and he's got a total of 28 Olympic medals. 23 of them gold.
Damn. He loves gold.
Too bad there's silver.
Andy, Olympic legend, not named LeBron James. Go.
Who did we put up there?
Jesse Owens. We put Muhammad Ali, Simone Biles, Katie Ledecky, Michael Phelps,
Carlos.
Yeah, so not necessarily the best, right? Just the most impactful.
The best. Bruce Jenner.
Oh, well,
he's got some medals, right?
Yes. He does. Yeah. I'm going to go with what I mentioned before, that 1980 U.S. men's hockey team. I mean, that's one of the things you always hear.
Yeah, one of the greatest calls of all time.
Oh yeah. So, and again, that game not for the gold medal.
Right. They still had to win more.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was just knocking those Russians, the Soviet Union out.
Also, on tape delay.
Yes.
So that was they had already won their medal, or won in advance, and the United States didn't know about it. The public didn't know about it until it aired the next day.
How about that?
I think that's incredible that in 1980 there weren't live events. Right?
Yeah, I don't think anybody thought they had a chance.
And that's what it was. So they didn't have any crew or anything, and that just adds to the legend of it, right?
Especially when you remember what Russia did to him earlier. In the
what did they do earlier?
Pool, was it the pool? They beat them. Was it 7-1?
Yeah, it was something. Obliterated them.
Yeah,
but they didn't count on Kurt Russell.
That's right.
You can't motivate somebody like Kurt Russell can.
Yeah.
Sorry, Russia, you didn't have one.
Nope.
That's right. He wins gold and defeats the Thing.
Yep. Yep. And drives the Pork Chop Express.
And he's death proof, by the way.
He is.
You look at wrapping up Olympic legends. You have Katie Ledecky. If you haven't seen the photo, there is a photo of her win where there's nobody else in the frame.
Oh wow!
Coming in, and so do yourselves a favor, go on YouTube. Katie Ledecky dominating. Katie Ledecky winning, whatever. But that is just amazing.
Which race was that? Because I watched the 800 yesterday, and there was somebody that was two people that were right there. The United States was next to her. Yeah, I mean, she won many of them. But is this an AI fill photo? I believe you.
400. Yeah, we'll say the 400.
I'm just busting your chops.
And then I want to say Alexander Carolyn. He was a wrestler. He lost to Rulon Gardner, but he had won. He was undefeated and 3 Olympics undefeated, 13 years internationally undefeated, and then ended up losing to Rulon Gardner 0-1 or 1-0 for Rulon. I know it because I remember hearing about him when I was wrestled. But
yeah, you used to be a wrestler, right?
I did. Not Olympic, almost.
Well, did you ever know about the Foxcatcher story?
Yes, DuPont. Yeah.
Did you watch those movies or documentaries?
I watched the movie.
Yeah.
Rude,
do you know anything about those?
I do. Yeah. I watched Foxcatcher.
He was crazy. He was a little
incredible.
Bit
holy smokes, man. Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
What was your finisher?
Yeah. The inquiring minds want to know.
It was basically an armbar. It was an armbar to a chicken wing.
Yeah.
Yep. That proved very successful for the years I wrestled.
Very nice.
Many moons.
Went to state wrestler right here.
Thank you.
Yep.
That was an experience in and of itself. I went to high school. The two guys went to state. We were the first wrestlers from our school to go to state. And the guy next to me is now the head football coach for Northern Illinois. He was the running backs coach for the Los Angeles Rams.
Get out.
Yes, a young man named Thomas Hammock, who was just Mr. Indiana. He played baseball, football, wrestled. He finished third that year, back to back. Amazing young man, very, very talented athlete, but great person. Family was great, but it was fun.
I think they won their first bowl game last year.
Yes, they did. Yep.
Wow.
After he renewed his contract, he left the Rams. That's where he went to school. He went to school at Northern Illinois. He was forced because of a heart condition to quit football.
Man.
But yeah, so it's pretty cool. We're moving right along. We're going to move over to the entertainment side of things. Some big news that Andy, I believe you sent it out to the group first in a chat, and I immediately clicked play to see what was going on. Wow. I am Iron Man. Wait, hold on. No, he is now Dr. Doom. For those of you that have been under a rock, RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., was announced at Comic-Con as the new Victor Von Doom. for the next series of Avengers movies in 2026 and 2027. First thoughts, Snates, as always, our residential movie man. First thoughts, if you want to touch on your history, people that have listened to the podcast or watched know your history of Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man. Let's get your thoughts on Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom.
Big flop here. Yep, might as well add to the legend. No, I think this is very exciting news and great for Avengers, which, as Rudy talked about, the only movie that they put out this year will be $1 billion movie. And so if they're going back to the full tilt boogie of putting out a couple every quarter, it'll be well worth it for not only Marvel Studios, but also your boy Disney. The Disney back on top. Yep, I see little Mickey.
Yep. Andy, as a guy that loves following the Marvel, with storylines, you actually do a little bit of looking into it on storylines and things like that. First off, your reaction to RDJ as Dr. Doom.
Oh, I think it's a smart move. They had a lot of problems here over the last 2 or 3 years after Endgame with really, they're really digging it. Iron Man was always considered more of a second tier character in Marvel, but they went ahead.
I agree. I totally agree.
But it went, it caught lightning in a bottle with that, and were able to go ahead and move right through. And then they started, after they'd gotten through that core group of characters they were using, then you started getting into some more of the more obscure characters with Shang-Chi and Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel, and to where the movie going public, they may not be as foreign to people who are into the comics, but movie going public, they've never heard of a lot of these characters.
Right.
And the market was oversaturated with a lot of this stuff. And all the familiar characters and the overlapping of the stories and this character showing up in that movie, that kind of disappeared. And it really suffered. And so after the initial Thanos storyline played out, it really felt kind of rudderless. They focused a lot on Kang the Conqueror, and that for me, it just, he didn't feel dangerous or intimidating in the way that Thanos did in those movies. And then of course you had the Jonathan Majors getting arrested for domestic abuse. And these days, that will undo your career immediately. And that's exactly what happened there. They had to, had all these plans, to build up that Kang character as the next big bad in that universe. And it derailed. And, the unfortunate circumstance that led to it, the actual effect of what he did may have actually saved Marvel a bunch of money. It really gave them a chance to go in a different direction, and not have to see this Kang thing out, and switch immediately to probably one they were holding in reserve to do after Kang, which was Dr. Doom. So yeah, it's big in the world of Marvel Comics. It doesn't get much bigger than Victor Von Doom. So they really went ahead and tried to right the ship by bringing in arguably the father of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Robert Downey Jr. And they also, it was reported that he would not go ahead and do this without the Russo brothers being brought in to direct. So yeah, that was his contingency for coming in. He was only going to be a part of it if the Russo brothers direct. So they locked in the Russo brothers for both the next two Avengers movies, Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. So, yeah, big news. Big news in Marvel. Yeah, and they really should knock it down to about 1, maybe 2 a year. It was just it was the quality suffered.
Mm-hmm.
It really did. So, yeah, big news.
And it became formulaic too, right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, you knew exactly what was going to be happening. There was no surprises. So that's why there's Deadpool and Wolverine that's not formulaic. It's filled with surprises and a lot of humor and crassness, which I applaud them for.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they basically wanted to hit a home run, like you guys have both stated. 2023, the first year Disney didn't have $1 billion movie. In the last 7 years, what would have been 8 years in a row, but they didn't have $1 billion movie last year. Marvel had suffered. I didn't mind the 10 Rings. The Marvels. Yep. What can you say? But they needed to hit a home run, and they did. And obviously you're not going to make everybody happy all the time. There's people online that are complaining about them bringing RDJ back, but a lot of theories already. Probably, Andy, you can probably correct me if I'm wrong. The most prevalent theory is that it's multiverse, that it's Tony Stark as a multiverse variation that ends up as Doctor Doom.
Yeah, there's a storyline in the comics that follows something along that. But I mean, last I checked, Robert Downey Jr. is an actor.
What?
He could probably play a different character, especially one who's behind a metal mask.
Yeah.
It's kind of his job. Oscar winner. He sounds like he can do it.
All right.
He is now officially an Oscar winner. Good job. Yep. Oppenheimer.
Yes.
God bless you.
I was going to say that you said something about a home run with this Deadpool and Wolverine, but they kind of hit a Little League home run with Inside Out, too. They didn't expect it to do as well as it has, and they just kept running, and the box office got them over $1 billion.
Yeah.
Yes. They, as we talked about last, they are now officially that's the biggest animated movie of all time. 1.55 billion. May have enough power to make it to 1.6. They're about 44 short, but maybe 1.6 billion. Dr. Doom. The other question I have that kind of pertains to some of the Comic-Con announcements. We got the Fantastic Four announcement there, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was in development, but they actually showed footage.
Yes. Do you think this is? I was talking to a buddy of mine that has liked the Fantastic Four movies, mainly because Jessica Alba, the original one. But what? Well, Snakes will take it. We kind of got your answer already. Have you enjoyed any of the Fantastic Four?
No.
Do you think, follow up? Do you think it was wise that they try to go back to this to try again? Obviously, it's Disney trying, but do you think this was a good idea to try to bring it back again? My guess is to form a franchise for it.
I don't think so. I think this is like them trying to make fetch cool. It's not a saying. It's not cool.
I'm gonna write this down.
Write it down. Oh man. No, this is the third iteration of Fantastic Four, and they just made a joke about it in Deadpool, right?
Yeah.
Spoiler. So yeah, I don't think it. I'll say this: I don't think it's going to be $1 billion movie.
All right, we are.
Okay. You have it.
Did you write that down?
Book it.
Okay.
Book it.
We'll see.
And it's before we get to Andy, your thoughts. It seems like they are establishing or going back to their bullpen of reliable actors. You've got RDJ coming back as Dr. Doom. You've got Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, correct? Reed Richards? Okay. And he's done a lot for Disney. RDJ obviously has been a huge part of the Marvel universe. So it's, they are starting to find their bankable guys. Obviously, Pedro Pascal and RDJ doing things other places being very successful. But Disney is honing in on a few key players to help this resurrection that we'll talk about in a minute. But Andy, your thoughts? Do you like the idea of Disney trying their hand at Fantastic Four, and did you like any of the iterations?
I didn't like any of the other iterations. I mean, I didn't hate them, but they just didn't resonate. I mean, it was kind of like I saw it and I was like, but it wasn't anything that I saw more than once. There's movies you see like you can't wait to see something again.
Yep.
And then the other ones, it's kind of like, well, I saw it.
Yep.
You move on.
Mm-hmm.
I think Disney and Marvel Studios have the best shot at getting this right. And the reason for it is that they're doing it in a different way. It's actually it's got to be multiversal of some in some way, because it's in it's what amounts to it. The footage I saw, somebody leaked it on Twitter, and it appears to be like set in the 60s.
Okay.
But with like the Fantastic Car and things like that, so it's like a futuristic 60s.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how it ties into everything else that's going on. So I mean, it's a completely different take than what was done with the other two, which I think is a smart move. I mean, you got two for sure ways of how not to do it. So,
yep.
It's maybe third time's a charm. We'll see.
Well, let me ask you this: is Dr. Doom going to be in that? Will that be the first chance of seeing Dr. Doom? He
was the arch nemesis of the Fantastic Four. He really should be, but in the footage I saw, it looked like Galactus had a little bit of an appearance in there. But I would imagine with the announcement now of Robert Downey Jr., there'll be, if they are done with Principal, there'll be some reshoots to somehow incorporate Doom in there.
Then I retract my statement.
If
Dr. Doom is going to be in that,
that's an asterisk.
That's an asterisk.
An amendment?
Yep. That's an amendment. Yep.
Okay. All right.
That might be the quickest amendment in podcast history.
So I need to scratch that out or erase that.
Just put an asterisk next to it. Be like,
okay. All right.
Unless Dr. Doom appears.
Okay.
All
right. We've done plenty of bets where we shake on it unless somebody gets injured.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So that's what that is.
Safe. It's a good call. The Avengers with Dr. Doom, was that at Comic-Con, was that also the Thunderbirds announcement?
Thunderbolts?
Thunderbolts, yeah. Thunderbolts.
Yeah, they had a Thunderbolts panel as well.
And all right.
And Captain America.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Flop. February flop.
There it is. Now you can write that down.
Harrison
Clarence.
I do not like that guy.
I think he's expressed this before, so we already have it on the record somewhere else, but it's boom. February flop.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I know that well. In that February release window.
That's it. That's it. Exactly right.
All right.
Yep. There's your somewhat movie news. We're gonna bring some more into it. We're gonna go into the year of 2020 more. The year of Disney Studios' reascension to the movie throne. We talked briefly about Inside Out 2, the biggest animated movie of all time. As of this recording, we are at Deadpool and Wolverine is already the second highest grossing movie of 2024, with 824 million. Obviously, well
in 2 weeks.
Yes,
2 weeks.
On its way to $1 billion, which means back-to-back movies for Disney reaching $1 billion. Deadpool and Wolverine. I saw it. Snakes, you've seen it.
Yep.
Andy? Yes. And Snakes, what number are you on? How many times have you seen it now?
3,
but I will be seeing it a 4th time this week.
All right. Hey, first off, can we put because some of the stuff I want to talk about, little spoiler alert here?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Because it's past opening weekend. It's 2 weeks out.
It's 2 weeks out.
And if you're on social media anywhere, you've seen a lot of this stuff.
That's true. I saw some clips of like the end.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys,
Yeah.
no tact whatsoever.
Oh, uncultured swine.
Uncultured swine.
Yep. So here we go.
So,
spoiler alert. All right, go ahead.
Thank you.
All right. So, Deadpool, just so funny. Funtroll, you called it earlier when you said you would have to see it again after you saw it your first time, just because you were laughing, that you wanted to make sure you saw and heard some of the stuff you missed while you were laughing.
Yeah.
I totally get what you meant by that after I saw it.
Yeah.
So good. The movie just, it's not out to be, anything other than just a good time, a fun time, a just gory mess, and the clever or not so clever in your face jokes that are out there.
Right.
Just so happy I saw it. If you get a chance, check out Hot Ones, the YouTube series with Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. So good.
Yep.
So good. But Andy, I'm anxious. I know you're chomping at the bit.
Yeah,
So
I'm
let's
excited.
get to it.
Yeah, I mean, I will go on record and say, everybody got a little nervous. I think this was everybody's big question mark when Disney acquired 20th Century Fox Studios and obtained the rights to X-Men, Deadpool, and a host of others. The question was, will Disney, what will Disney do with Deadpool?
Right.
Because, part of its charm is that unhinged violence and language and humor.
Right.
Nothing that they are used to doing, nothing that, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is used to. I think they had their first F-bomb in the last year on Guardians of the Galaxy 3 after 25 plus movies.
Yeah.
And then they're going to bring Deadpool in.
Here they go.
And it was, without a doubt, the most violent and gory of all the Deadpool movies, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was the funniest.
Yeah.
I think it had the most at stake story-wise. And it was great action, great buddy comedy type of feel.
Yeah.
And what really surprised me the most?
Let's hear it.
Is I think Hugh Jackman's an underappreciated actor.
Dude, I was going to bring that up. I was like, I would not be surprised to see him up for an Oscar because he killed that part so well. And like that stoicness and being serious, even though this guy's joking the whole time, he was still so like like Logan, like a serious alcoholic that's trying to drink away his troubles. And his scene by the fire when he's like, oh, I don't want to be alone. Yeah. I mean, that was such a great scene and moment in there that brought the levity down and was, I mean, there was a couple emotional times, and I found that when I was watching, I was like, how can this be like so funny and just a romp through the universes, and then in a split second like that, he's able to make you cry about what he's gone through. That's incredible what they did with that.
That scene there, and arguably one of my favorite scenes in there, is when they're in that minivan and they're driving.
Oh.
And he just rips Deadpool a new one.
Yeah.
Within there about, telling him, what a obnoxious, soft, moron and all this kind of stuff. And
right.
I mean, I had to go looking online for that specific scene. I've watched that scene 400 times. It's the one where he's telling him, he goes, telling him, the thing about it is, you can't die. And that's the God's cruelest joke of all, except the joke's on all of us.
Yeah.
And he's like, you can almost see he just completely undresses him, and you can even see it with that mask on that Deadpool's wearing, that, he just like gets taken apart by that. And then he finishes him off with, You
I'm
know,
gonna fight you.
yeah. Well, right before that, he says to him, "What's the matter? You got nothing else to say, mouth?"
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just, yeah. And then they go at it, but I mean, just for
Right.
that 30 seconds, I mean,
Yeah.
holy crap,
It's so good.
intense.
Yeah.
The movie, it's on a story basis. Andy, you said you enjoyed the story. Obviously the multiverse, even though Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness didn't do as well as what I thought it would do. I mean, it still did decent, but that opened up, all these multiverse things. WandaVision also did, and things like that. But to really go into it, and that enabled a lot of these movies that you're seeing, possibly with Doctor Doom, as we were talking about with RDJ. But Snakes as a story for the movie, did you like it?
Yeah, I was with it for most of the part. But again, I was there for the entertainment aspect of laughing and the things that they were doing with. I mean, it's Carcass in the first scene. I mean that stuff was unbelievable. Dudes, I was like, they really are going there, and it sets the tone right off the bat.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So story wise, I wasn't going in necessarily for
No.
like the story of it all. It was all about the entertainment and these guys being, like you said, a buddy comedy or a buddy action film. So that's what I was going for. I was surprised that the story was as good as it was, but like you're saying, with Hugh coming in there and bringing that aspect of it, where it's not just fart jokes or crass jokes or sexual entendres, any of those. It's him bringing that aspect to it, and then a couple of surprises of people forgetting who Marvel characters are, and they walk in the door, and I was like, "Oh, this is amazing!
So good.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it so much."
I wasn't sure if we were going to talk about that. As Andy said, we're 2 weeks in.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever since the cartoons, as a matter of fact, I'm watching the X-Men cartoon from the 90s right now on Disney Plus. I'm watching those. And I have always been a huge Gambit fan, from cartoons.
Have you watched X-Men 97? Have you watched the new ones?
No, that's why I wanted to rewatch the series so I could watch X-Men 97.
It's well done.
Is it?
Yep.
So I'm still up in the air on Gambit. I don't know what I was expecting. All I know is that when I saw that boot step into the room and the trench coat, I started crying, because I remember the rumors of a Gambit movie.
Yeah.
I remember these rumors being talked about, and even though it's probably been a week now since I've seen the movie, I'm still up in the air on what I feel about the portrayal. So, Andy, I wanted to start with you. Specifically that portrayal of Gambit. Where are you at on that?
Oh, if they make a Gambit movie and it's not Channing Tatum, I won't watch it.
Yeah, I agree.
I will not watch it.
So funny,
dude.
New Orleans accent.
So
not a word. What was that? Not a word.
Oh my God! Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And he went all in.
He did.
I went all in. And the jokes about that movie not getting made.
Oh, yeah. See, that's insider baseball. I didn't know anything about him being Gambit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'd been trying, much like Ryan Reynolds was trying to get Deadpool made.
Okay.
Channing Tatum was trying to do that, but the Fox Studios sale went through.
Ah,
and
man.
they killed all that. So, yeah, having him in there, I mean, that's one of the fan favorites of the movie. That, the memes are all over the place.
Yeah,
they're throwing that on everything with oh, I'm about to make a name for myself in here.
I mean, it was hilarious, and I was going with it. And I knew there was some story behind that, but I didn't know, and I didn't care because I love. Who was your dialect coach?
Yeah,
that was Again, you just going along with the ride, and I don't need all the specifics and everything. With these guys being as entertaining as they are, that I enjoyed it immensely, and can't stop talking about it, or wanting to see it again.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to see it again in the theater. It's been that was the first movie I've been to in the theater in a while.
Yeah,
that had that much. You know, I went on a Thursday and the theater was almost full.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Thursday night at 7:00.
Damn.
I was on Saturday afternoon, and the interaction from the crowd, the applause, and things like
that. Oh, there were a few moments. When Elektra showed up, Blade showed up.
Yep.
And Gambit, and then
Blade walked in.
Yep.
So
Blade was the best. That was the one I had lost my shit on. Oh man,
I had heard something about Wesley Snipes being on set, so I figured that, but I hadn't heard anything about Jennifer Garner being on set. So seeing her as Elektra was great, and then seeing
Daredevil didn't make it. It's okay.
Yeah, such a good nod.
And that's what I'm saying. They're breaking all kinds of rules with this, and it was amazing because, like you say, you're seeing who's on set and things like that. So we are privy to a lot of these things. So there's rumors and everything. So for them to really involve that in a story, it's not too many times that we find those things. So it's really fun to be able to have that.
Yeah, I mean that was so good. And then one of my favorite things about it is how comically accurate they went with Gambit's outfit.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean that is just like
all the way up.
It looks in the comic books. His the gloves, everything. 100% on point with that. And when those three showed up, went nuts when the way they did Chris Evans cameo.
Oh yeah,
dude.
When they
he's about to say it.
Yep. Well, they even play the Captain America theme a little bit there when he's wearing the hood and everything.
Yeah.
And then so what a great twist, what a great cameo. And that line about, after they're like, "Oh, we're sorry about your friend," and he goes, "Oh, that's okay. He was killing the budget."
Yes. Another one. That's why I think it's like a groundbreaking movie with some of those things. There's so many different references to it that the people that are looking on the internet and following all the stories, it's such a
feed you into more and more.
Yeah.
The ultimate sandbox. You can do whatever you want.
It's exactly. It really is.
Throw the 20th Century Fox logo in the sand and
rotted in the background.
That was great, and it always got a laugh every time.
Yeah,
everybody saw it. They laughed.
Even though you saw it and you saw it in the trailers.
Yes,
it still did. And I mean, little things like, there were so many characters in there around that the fortress there of Cassandra Nova's. You had Lady Deathstrike was there. From former X-Men movies, didn't get a lot of screen time. You had all these people, and then the one dude who sucked down the fire, he was Pyro in the original X-Men movies. So it just there's so much I probably didn't even see that I need to see it again. And so many nods. The crowd went nuts when he pulled the mask on.
Oh yeah, that was such a killer moment.
And then that scene through the bus, and it had that perfect like comic, when they come busting out of the back of the bus, it's like just like a cell in a comic book.
That was such a great shot. I said that specifically when it came out.
And you were saying, Funkel, it was such a great shot.
Right, that's exactly what I was saying. Such a good shot. That would be a Pulitzer Prize winning photo.
Hey, we're talking Deadpool.
So good. Can't wait to see it again.
Blake Lively as
she was that was great. I had to look that up. I always hope. And Matthew McConaughey was the cowboy Deadpool.
Yes. Yeah. And they kept the masks on.
Yeah. Didn't show him at all.
Awesome.
Nice pool. Yeah. In the credit. Nice pool.
Yeah, nice pool. Yeah.
Yeah. How long before you regenerate?
Yeah. I like how when he just points at his face. Come on, guys. He just looked.
Yep.
Yeah, so many great moments in that. And I should say that I'm not paying every time I go to the theater because I have the subscription to A-List AMC. So I just paid $25 a month and I can see 3 movies a week. So that's why I'm seeing it so much.
Nice.
AMC, if you want to sponsor us, get a
Yeah.
hold of the show
Yes.
at Roodimentary Podcast, or you
There
just
we go.
rudimentarypodcast@gmail.com. We'll be waiting for that email.
Thank you.
Moving from movies back into sports.
Yeah.
Spoilers are over. Well, I guess this would be a spoiler too if you haven't seen that. We're gonna move back to baseball. We're gonna hit me with your best shot. And Blake Snell, pitcher for the San Francisco Giants, just 2 days ago, pitched a no-hitter against my Cincinnati Reds. Huge Reds fan. 3-0. A good friend of ours, Snake's your brother, his wife. Yeah, they were at the game.
Yeah. You can just call her my sister-in-law.
All right. I'll do that.
That'll just simplify things.
Have you guys been to a no-hitter? I've been to a one-hitter. I've never seen a no-hitter.
Of the 30 plus years of me playing, watching, and being a part of baseball, I've never seen a no-hitter in person.
I saw one in Texas. Went with Dad. We saw the Astros. It was a no-hitter or a one-hitter. It was like no hit through 6 2/3, if I remember right. So there was some excitement build up. Andy, before we get to you, actually, let's go right to you. In your days at Southside, did you ever witness Josh Ort pitch a no-hitter?
No.
Nope. No. And there were times that he had an infinite ERA, but never a no-hitter.
Oh, infamous Joshua Ort.
Infamous?
Timestamp an hour and 13 minutes before our friend Mr. Ort was brought up for the first time on this episode.
He's gonna be so disappointed. So disappointed.
But
what about you, Rude? You ever see one?
No, I think the thing I remember the most was, and I didn't know it at the time, was it was at an Astros game down in Houston, watching Nolan Ryan pitch against Oral Hershiser during Hershizer's scoreless inning streak.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Dang.
Down there for that game. I don't know where the streak was at the time. I think it was early enough that it wasn't like major news.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that was cool.
Yeah. How many innings did he end up going?
Was it 2/3?
I thought it was 55 too, but
it was some in the 50s, somewhere like that. Something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, I think it was 55 2/3.
What was his number? Wasn't his number 55?
Yep.
No, really?
Yeah, his number is 55.
Only we had a way to find out for sure.
I thought it was higher than that, and I just remembered it as higher. I remembered it as his number, and I was like, there's no way it's the same.
59.
59.
Aha. See? I was right. I doubted myself.
Higher. Yeah.
I didn't remember that interesting fact.
Put that right next to Mac Robinson in your.
There we go, Mac.
Your memory bank.
Just spit the knowledge game.
A little known fact, Sammy.
Little known fact there, Nom.
I wanted to bring this one up because we had touched base on this a couple episodes ago about pitching. We had talked about Paul Steens having a no-hitter through 7, and all right, kid, that's enough.
Yep.
All right, thanks. Blake Snell, who's a 2023 Cy Young Award winner.
Right.
This is his 9th year in the league.
Mm-hmm.
This no-hitter came on his first ever complete game.
Yeah, wow. First time he touched the 9th inning.
First time ever pitching a 9th inning.
Yeah.
Kudos to them leaving him in.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen that so often. With guys getting yanked like this. Well, how ridiculous. I think we talked about that before.
Yeah, totally.
Out of here with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wanted to retouch on that. It's, I after we talked Nolan Ryan and his 232 pitch game, that he had, I looked up some more, and there's quite a few stories of players, saying what Nolan Ryan would say when the manager would come out of the dugout. Yeah, if he thought
I just used one of our bleeps, so you're gonna use another?
It's so weird in today's, whether it's not just baseball, pulling a pitcher, no hitter. You've got basketball players getting rest days, sitting out for whatever. You
load management.
Load management. Yes.
Rude knows about that. He loves it.
I hate managed loads.
You love LeBron James. You love King James. What do you think of when you hear King James is having a day off? In an 82 game season. What do you think about that, Andy?
I think it sucks. It wouldn't bother me because I would never pay to watch that dude play. But I think it was Michael Jordan had a quote, said something about, when asked, when he plays in some of these games after they've got playoffs locked up or something like that. Or, what were deemed as like meaningless games because they didn't, he's playing in game 72 and they're already the first seed. And his response was because there's some kid out there who came to see Michael Jordan play, and it was his first time going, maybe the only time he goes to a game.
Yeah.
And that should be it. You know what I mean? But you don't have that anymore. I mean, you got these guys, I think there was a Lakers game a couple years back where I think you didn't have Westbrook, AD, and LeBron all on the bench for a game. And it's like, you should be able to get your money back.
Yeah, I agree.
Something like that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you're injured, it's one thing. But,
today's prices, prices.
Yeah, I mean they released the schedule early enough for everybody. Everybody goes and looks at that. Any fan of any kind, if they're into a sport and they know that the schedule is coming out, they're circling dates and this person's on this team and I want to be there for that game because they're coming into my town for me to be able to watch. I remember doing that with your buddy Ort, and we went to when Griffey was on Cincinnati and McGuire and Sosa had the home run like the summer of '98 that brought it back, and then Griffey was with the Reds. We looked at the schedule, and in February for like a game in August, we were pointing out, the Reds are playing the Cardinals. Let's get tickets in St. Louis and take a road trip and go to that game. And so we buy the tickets in February. We put them on the refrigerator, and then when it comes time to go on vacation, we left them on that refrigerator until we were in Terre Haute, Indiana, where we had to call back and have them FedEx to St. Louis, the hotel we were staying at, because we were going to miss a game.
FedEx, if you'd like to sponsor it.
You saved the day.
Yep.
But I love how you brought that up because that's what I would do. Obviously, I'm a Reds fan, so I and being so close, but that gives a lot of people around where we're from, if they have another favorite team, like when Interleague was announced, to just go see the Yankees come to Cincinnati, where tickets usually aren't that much money because we're not very good lately. But you could get tickets to your favorite player, especially if it's National League. You could see your favorite team come to Cincinnati. If you were a Cubs fan, instead of paying, maybe you've already been to Wrigley Field a few times. You've already been surrounded by all that is Wrigley Field and what that entails. But you want to see your Cubbies play, go to Cincinnati, get a lot cheaper tickets to go see it. And you're going to see your team. You're going to go see your favorite player. You've got that opportunity. And bringing it back around to the no-hitter, 9 years, and the guy had never pitched into the ninth inning.
Yeah. and he's won a Cy Young. He won it last year in San Diego, and this is also right after the trade deadline, which everybody thought that he was going to be traded. Who is he going to? And nobody signed him. He was injured at the beginning of the year, so this is like one of his first quality starts of the season with the 2-year contract to the Giants, and the Giants are not in it at all, and so that everybody thought that they were going to dish him to somebody, but nobody ponied up for it, and then he goes out there and throws a no hitter, complete game no hitter. Oh, no. Yeah. I guess I'm staying here in San Francisco.
Yep, sitting on the dock of the bay.
I've been to that dock, by the way.
Otis
Redding, man. It was surreal. But go ahead. Sorry.
You're good. Hey, that's what
I travel, guys.
We'll never get back the days of, the closer with the 1 inning save, the Eckersleys, of the world, the Rivera, where your starting pitcher took you into the 8th or, 8 1/3, and then you bring your closer out, and that's it. Now you've got specialized lefty middle relievers that are your lefty on lefty matchups that you have to stay in there for, 3 batters or whatever. It's baseball certainly changed. I mean, I still watch a game periodically now and then. Obviously with the Reds killing me every year in and year out, I'm done watching by the All-Star break. And then
they could be good. They have such good talent on them. But this year, they've been riddled with injuries of free agent signings that they thought were going to come up. And their center fielder that continues to be injured. He's supposed to be like a 20-20, 30-30 kind of guy. And then Ellie De La Cruz, we all seen him. He's going to, hopefully, he'll be close to 100 stolen bases this year.
Yeah.
And he's hitting the ball 115 miles an hour on the regular. So he could be the first 30-100 man.
Enjoy him while you can, Cincinnati, because in about a year, he'll be a Dodger or a Yankee or a Padre. So if you get a chance, if you love baseball, if you just love seeing exciting players, get over to Cincinnati. Or if they're coming to your town close to you, get out there and just watch him. He's fun to watch. It's been fun as a Reds fan to watch games with him. We won't have him very long, but man, they were 2 games within 500 just recently, close to the All-Star break, then went on a 6-game losing streak. And, like you said, Frankie Montez, they just traded him to the Brewers. And real quick, before we move on to our draft, in division trades.
I don't understand.
Thank you.
I saw that. I was like, this is ridiculous. Why would you do that? Yeah. Who would agree to that?
There's
somebody that doesn't think they have a chance in the next couple of years trading to their enemies that they're going to face multiple times a year.
And game out. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, unless you believe that you are sticking them with somebody subpar, I mean, he was a 1-year, $16 million free agent. He was one of the Reds' bigger free agent signings this year. He was 4-8. I think he had a 4.21 ERA. So unless you're saying, hey, here you go, guys, trust us, he's not going to do anything. But still, whether it's baseball, football, Andy, in division or in conference trades, your thoughts?
I mean, it depends on who the teams are trading, right? I mean, who's offering what? I mean, it's all about money at the end of the day. And, I mean, I mean, it really is. I mean, there's no money is the ultimate factor. There's no real loyalty anymore.
Nope.
To anything.
Nope.
I mean, it's what can you do for that dollar?
Yeah. There was conversations with Tony Gwynn and his agent that he was detrimental to the rest of the free agency because he continued to take deals that were less than what his market value brought because he loved where he was in San Diego. He's like, I love the city. I love this organization. And whatever they're offering me, I'm lucky enough to play and get paid for it. So I'll be staying here. And their agents will continue like, you're affecting everybody else's contract because you're taking less. And he's like, well, they're not They're not me. I mean, he liked what he liked, and that's why he's beloved, and he is a legend. And it's unfortunate that we only got him for 50 some years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love stories like that. You won't see them anymore. You know, you saw Mike Trout. You know, he's been with the Angels forever. You know, he's out again. Sad news. He's out for the season again. You know, but yeah, you just don't. I'm trying to think of anybody. Mahomes. You know, he already has role. You know, and then he signs that 10-year deal.
Yeah.
You know, that's, you know, and I think the first 4 were very team friendly deals, and the last 3 have multiple options for outs on both sides. So I think that's the only guy I can think of that has that mindset.
Well, think of Ohtani, was free agent. He got $700 million, right? That's what the market was for him, and that's what the Dodgers were willing to pay. And how much does he use of that? He defers what, 690 million or something to that effect. He's making all this other money in ads, and he doesn't even need that kind of money, and he said that. And so with these guys, they're just getting $1 more for uprooting their family and going and living in a different place. It never made sense to me where they're just taking whatever is the highest contract. It just baffles me.
And that's where you find the guys that want to win versus the guys that want the money. Hey, you know, you go your way and do it or whatever. You know, Larry Fitzgerald, when he retired, had multiple offers to come back for 1 year.
Yeah.
Didn't. You know, he stayed retired.
Right.
You know, it's just, you know, certain guys that have that mindset. And
Barry Sanders.
Yes, absolutely. I have a feeling you'll see now some of these guys. I have a feeling you'll see take less in the next couple of years to come over to Kansas City for a chance to win a ring. You know, whether it's a receiver, whether it's a tight, whether it's a running back. You know, you might have these guys. You know, yes, I'll play whatever. You know, Russell Wilson took league minimum. Of course, he had $80 million guaranteed from Denver. Another story. But he took league minimum to, you know, play for the Steelers. You know, you've got guys that I think you'll see coming over to Kansas City, maybe that one chance. You saw Randy Moss do it with New England, you know, to have his chance at the one ring. Sorry, Randy. Eli happened. You know, you just, those kind of guys endear yourselves to guys like me. I assume guys like you as well. But, you know, something that also endears you fans to us is our next topic. It's time for the Pondering Peeps draft. Now this one was interesting. We had a couple different options, and then the second option got ruled out and got saved for later on a very dark tone, a very dark and ominous responses to where we'll shelve that option. We're holding off on the second option. We won't even bring it up.
That's true.
So, Snakes, do you want to take it away? You want me to take it away?
No, man, you do a great job with those things. I get nervous.
So, in honor of Deadpool and Wolverine finally getting together, you had everybody hoping, and then you saw the initial announcement on the ad. You know, hey Hugh, you want to get together? You want to Wolverine one more time as he's walking up the stairs? Sure, Rye.
Till you're 90.
Yeah, got you. Is there another fictional duo you would want to have a movie? And I was going to cheat and take the example that Snakes threw out there in the chat, because when you threw it out there, that was awesome.
Great.
Andy, are you ready with one? With your first round pick? I know I went first last time, and I know
you're up, Rude.
Have 3 and 1. So, did you have one?
I do.
Well, I do, but
you know, I think, you know, if we or do we have any restrictions here, or can it be anything?
No, we didn't set any restrictions, so have at it.
Yeah, I think something, it's a hard act to follow with Deadpool, right?
Right.
I think that it's hard to get my mind out of the comic industry and things of that nature. So for this pick, I'll stay with that,
Okay.
and I'm gonna go with um something safe, but something I think would go ahead and be a good fit. It would
Okay.
probably be, I think a Spider-Man Batman team up would
Oh
be.
wow.
You got kind of that, not quite the Deadpool sense of humor, but kind of the sense of humor that Spider-Man has as being young, and then the dark, brooding Batman feeling. I think would work well more in a probably PG-13 world.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a big one.
That'd be a big one, crossover type
Heck
thing.
yeah.
Let's dive a little bit deeper. Who would be playing
Ooh.
those guys, since we've had multiple actors playing both? Yes, I did it, folks.
Yeah.
I threw it
Yeah,
in there.
I would go.
Good job.
Yeah, I like Tom Holland,
Okay.
and let's do something off the wall like Christian Bale.
Oh,
Because you got a little taste of it with something like The Flash and Ben Affleck's Batman.
Yeah.
So that's something we haven't really seen, and being the dark version of that Christopher Nolan-esque universe there. I think it's a good night and day type of fit.
Is that the universe you want then, Christopher Nolan?
I like that Batman in that universe. I don't know, maybe some hybrid, but you can't go wrong with Christopher Nolan, right?
I don't think so. I think it's great.
I mean, but it definitely doesn't feel like a Christopher Nolan fit. So
Right.
it has to. I don't know. It'd be fun to see.
Little Todd Phillips action.
Maybe. Yeah.
That's pretty dark.
And some Hangover. He's
Yep.
done both.
He's definitely done comedy.
Yep.
that's
yeah.
solid. That's a solid number one overall.
Yeah.
I
Pretty
like
good.
it.
You want to follow that, Trav? You're up.
I got you, bud. I went.
Okay.
I went Disney. Shocking. But with D23, the big expo that's coming up, that announces everything Disney movies, resorts, things like that. There's been a lot of talk over the last couple of years about Disney World expanding into a villains land and having a land themed around the villains. And it got me thinking, because there's a big thought that they might finally announce it. But I would love to see something with two of my favorite Disney animated villains, and that's Dr. Facilier from The Princess and the Frog and Maleficent. They both have a darker side when it comes to the actual character of them. Obviously, Maleficent, they made two movies regarding her character with Angelina Jolie as Maleficent, but going all the way back to Beauty. But Dr. Facilier, he's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Disney villain of all time. So I think you could do a lot to maintain the dark image they already have, but bring it into something, a different type of Disney animated movie that you really haven't seen before. And I think you could do a lot with who you bring in as the hero or heroine to it, but you could mainly focus on that dark aspect. You've crossed some Disney lines with Deadpool already, so you could make a dark animated movie. They tried it in '84 with Black Cauldron, and it didn't do well at all because it was too dark.
They weren't ready.
They weren't ready.
They
So
weren't
I think
ready.
we're ready now.
Yeah,
I would go a animated movie with Dr. Facilier and Maleficent.
Oh, wow. Nice. Good pick.
Thank you. Your turn, my friend. You get two.
I think we're all going with our strengths, and one of my strengths, Quentin Tarantino. So, Vic and Vincent Vega.
Nice.
That is the duo that I would love to see in Amsterdam, just messing stuff up.
My man in Amsterdam.
That's right. So that is what I would like to see. And there was some works of that. Michael Madsen talked about it a little bit and saying that it was obviously something that fallen through since then, and Quentin's gone on and done some other things. But yeah, that was talks between Michael Madsen and John Travolta playing those two characters in Amsterdam, and just getting into some trouble up in there with the capital T. It sounds like. So yeah, that's who I would want to be able to do something like that, and then Quentin obviously writing and directing it would be another classic, because that's pretty much all he makes. And yeah, pretty interesting characters. And I mean, there's so many things that you could do. I could do multiple duos from his universe, but I thought just the Vega brothers would be enough. So
Okay, well done.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Dude, I like that one. I like that one a lot.
So so going from hardcore, I got the turnaround. So
Yes,
going from that, we're gonna go to the comedy. That was notoriously, these two hated each other on set of Caddyshack. So it's Ty Webb and Carl Spankler. So Bill Murray and Chevy Chase getting their own movie, and because neither of them were, well, was he in two? Was Chevy in two?
Maybe. Chevy was the only returning one.
Okay, that was about it. And then Dan Aykroyd did his best Bill Murray, whatever that was. Not good. So if I had a chance to have those two in a movie and having some fun on a golf course, or renovating a golf course, or meeting up, whatever storyline it would be, I would be all in for that.
Another good one. Solid.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Trav, my friend.
I went from animated to very much action, and I wanted to tap into like the cop movies, good cop, bad cop.
Oh.
And I wanted to think of something very unique. So I went with John McClane and Paul Kersey from Charles Bronson.
I
wanted,
wow. Generational jump.
Yes. I thought that would be a great pairing. You've got John McClane, who's dropping the one-liners, the clever, the fun. And then you got Charles Bronson, who just wants to kill everybody and just obliterate them. And I think, especially in today's cinema, where you can get away with almost anything when it comes to violence and gore, as we talked about Deadpool and Wolverine many times during this podcast, I just that would be a unique cop pairing. So I went with those two, just to kind of bring it from one end to the other, just very unique. And I think those two would make a unique pairing.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, generational difference to be able to put them together. Good job. Way to think outside the box. Yeah, Trav. Good job.
Andy, over to you for your second round.
Yeah, you got the turnaround now.
I'm going to go with, let's do Sarah Connor and Ellen Ripley.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Cameron Chicks.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I think I could watch that movie.
Yes. Yeah, I'm watching it right now. Thinking of all the possibilities.
Yeah, no, I think those are two of the best female ass kickers of all time.
Yeah.
In film. So I think that would be a good one.
Well, Jennifer Lawrence, didn't she say something about her inventing the female heroine in Hunger Games? Didn't she say something like that, and everybody gave her crap?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yep.
I think so. But yeah, hell of a two feminine, like the femnikitas of the world. It's pretty impressive what they could do. So yeah, that would be a lot of fun to see those two going at it.
Yep.
Here on Earth.
Yeah.
Ripley coming back home.
Yep.
And then she goes from Alien to fight to the Terminator.
Yep.
Oh,
that board
can't
for a break.
Yeah, can't cut a break at all.
Nope.
Wow. Yeah, that would be great. Make it happen.
All right, we'll do.
All right.
All right.
Trav.
You're on the flip side.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got another pick, Rude.
I do. Okay.
You got the flippy dip.
All right. Well, then how about this one? Marty McFly
Uh-huh.
and the Dude.
Oh my God.
All right, what's the setting? I have to know the setting.
Yeah.
I haven't thought it through too much. But
Okay.
It just seemed like it would. It seems like the styles would.
Uh-huh.
I'd be interested to see where it went.
Yeah.
Fine.
Well, he would definitely not have to convince them to say damn.
Hey, you.
I'm the dude. All right.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, that'd be interesting to see what kind of movie that would be.
You went comedy. Good call. You went superhero comedy to just outright destruction to just fun.
Like,
yeah,
who knows what's going to happen?
Solid draft.
Yep, that'd be fun. Yeah, regardless, it would be fun. Whatever it is, they put those two characters into it. Yeah.
Yes. I'm going to not go fun. This one I got from my favorite book of all time, but I'm going Atticus Finch and Jake Tyler Brigance. And I would like to see them working a case since both of their movies dealt with similar subject matter. I would like to see just a courtroom drama with both of those guys on the same team, because I love, to me, Gregory Peck as Atticus Finch is probably the most, aside from Basil Rathbone as Sherlock Holmes, but is the most true to life character that I could see after reading the book and seeing in my mind what I would think Atticus Finch would look like, and seeing Gregory Peck on screen and going, yes, this is exactly who I pictured.
Right.
But then Jake Tyler Brigance's performance in A Time to Kill, Matthew McConaughey's performance as Jake Tyler Brigance.
Nice.
I would love to see something like that, a courtroom drama dealing with a court case, something as either one of those dealt with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see something like that. What kind of case it would be that both of them would be involved in something like that? Because I think they're both defenders, no?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be, that'd be interesting to see something like that.
If they're on the same side, think like A Few Good Men. When you had it working, you had Tom Cruise.
Oh, you strongly object. You strongly object?
What a great scene.
Let me rethink that.
I think I've earned it. So that's mine. Yeah. That's mine, round 3.
That's good. Excellent. Good job all around, guys.
And you get to wrap it up.
I'm wrapping it up, and it's probably not going to be as big of bangers as you guys are talking about, but this is more of just personal fun in the record store with Dick and Barry from High Fidelity. And so that was Jack Black and I don't know the other actor's name, but we all know Jack Black. Mm-hmm. Just them running the record store and having the different characters come in and them being the snobs and just talking trash to everybody that came in there. Kind of like a Kevin Smith's Clerks kind of thing, where they're just in there and they don't care about the customer at all, and they're just there to entertain themselves. So if I could do the Dick and Barry little comedy indie, and having them just make fun of everybody that comes in there, I'm all for that.
Very nice.
Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Any duos, if you have any thoughts on the duos we mentioned, if you guys have any duos that you would do. That was good. Great question, as always.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you.
Now it's time for our always our final segment of the show. It's your favorite. It's my favorite. It's your playlist sucks. You can borrow ours. For those of you following or those of you new to the podcast, we have the same playlist on Spotify and Apple Music. You're welcome to follow along. You can download the playlist, but every week we are adding a song. We each choose one, and we add it. Kind of give a little backstory of why, and there's been some unique ones.
Yep.
There's been some classic hits. There's been some social media hits. Been some deep cuts. There's been live cuts. So we've had a little bit of everything. My daughter, before the podcast, was telling me that she was very familiar with Snake's pick.
Yes.
From Cabin Crew. My boys, they both knew it. We listened to it in the car on the way to dinner one night, and
that's awesome.
They're in the back, and they all knew it. And my wife and I looked and social media. All right, the power of social media.
That's true.
And the reminder that I'm not on it a lot because I had no idea.
Yeah.
All right, Snakes, as always, you pick who starts, and we go from there.
Okay. Rude, I'm going to go with you. I usually go to Trav, defer to him because he doesn't get to start that many. But today, Rude, you're on a roll. Let's keep it going.
All right. I am going to go with all the I was inspired this week by the release of Deadpool to go back to probably my favorite opening of any of the movies. And it was the first one with the freeze shot that's 3D that kind of goes through that entire car wreck at the beginning. And has the song that really has nothing to do with anything in it. It's such a great fit. Gonna go with Juice Newton's Angel of the Morning.
Angel in the Morning.
As a salute to Deadpool, because I enjoyed it so much, but that for me is what started it all off.
Good old Juice.
Yep.
Juice Newton.
Yep. Yep.
Solid.
What a great song. And a great tribute. Good job. Good thinking. Way to tie it in.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
The Juice.
I'm going to go again. We're doing classic. We're going back in our time machine, Marty McFly style.
That's right.
We're going to August 15th, 1964. One of my favorite songs from a guy not named Elvis, but one of my dad's favorite. My dad and I have listened to this song countless times, and one of my favorite sound effects from a song ever that I remember my daughter trying to do when she was young, probably 1 or 2. And it's the rolling R in Roy Orbison's Pretty Woman, the growl that he gives. So we're going to Pretty Woman from Roy Orbison, August 15th, 1964. Amazing song. A song that, like most of mine, when you hear it, you stop. Just that start out, and then the growl, and just a great song.
Mercy.
Yes. Love it. I could put it on at any time in any mood, and just pay attention and just listen to it. So easy choice for me. One of my favorites of all time. But Roy Orbison, Pretty Woman. Oh, Pretty Woman.
Nice. Yeah. And not bad eye candy that is associated with that with Julia Roberts with Pretty Woman. So not too shabby.
Legendary.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is get these old farts up to date on some new musicians. I'm sure most people that if they're under 30 years old would know this name that I would say right now. But I'm not sure if you guys are following and know.
Missed it by about 15 years.
Okay. Are you familiar with Chappelle Roan?
Bless you.
Chappelle Roan. No? Crickets?
Nope.
Crickets?
Yep.
All right. So she has blown up on social media, but not only that, in Lollapalooza. I hear the crickets. So the Lollapalooza is going on in Chicago, and She was somebody that just as recently as in 2021 was performing for anybody that cared to listen, at busking and performing for 50, 20 people that just happened to come by her. She got dropped from her record label a couple years ago, Atlantic. She moved out to LA. She's from Missouri, and all these things have failed, and she stuck with it. Everybody told her that she needs to quit and it's to stop doing this music. You need to get a real job. She goes out, gets a job as in drive through, works all these crappy jobs. Almost let another one slip, and then stays with the music and keeps recording and trusting in her, and finds a different way to start expressing herself. And she is slowly picked up and she's blown up on social media. And the song that I am suggesting is Hot to Go. And she has continually, every performance that she's done, teaches the audience how to do the dance for this song when she spells out HOTTO to go. So you see, now in Lollapalooza, she was not a main stage performer until they heard about all this following, and there was rumblings that there were going to be more people than expected. So she goes from her side stage to the main stage, and she's performing, and there's video of this, of over 80,000 people in Grant Park for Lollapalooza, and they're all doing the dance that she's been teaching for years when she sings it. So it's really an inspiring thing to see something like that, especially for artists that give up on something and like after a year or two and everybody's telling them not to do it. She's stuck with it. She's been doing it for 10 years, but she is an overnight success.
It's a long night.
It's a long night. Yeah.
You know, we had a small technical glitch for about 2 seconds
Okay.
there. We heard you say that it was inspiring.
Yep.
80,000 people in Grant Park, leading to an overnight success. So what I'm hoping I missed in that small glitch was that you learned how to do the dance. That's what I assumed that I missed.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Excellent. So is that going to be now? Are we going to put that as a reel? I'm just
that could be an attachment. I'll do that. Yeah.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah.
This is going on our social media. We'll set this up. Andy, maybe you could put some graphics to it. You know, something.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll absolutely do that.
Okay, yeah, this is going to be the first dedicated reel. Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're breaking ground, folks. Put your hard hat on.
Are we going to put this on the TikTok?
Oh, the old TikTok? Sure, we'll put it out there.
I believe that. Excellent. So there you can download or you can subscribe to the playlist. You can add it. We've got Juice Newton, Roy Orbison, and
Chappelle Roan. Yep.
Quite an eclectic grouping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Together. As always, guys, that wraps us up. The playlist always wraps up the show. I've had a couple people at work that have been following the playlist. A friend of mine that texts me about it, that lives out of state. But I've actually gotten some recommendations that I have to say, no, that's too new of music for me. So I will not be adding that as part of my
Chappelle Roan is not making it to them then.
Sorry, you'll just have to wait your turn.
Before we close out, there was an interesting fact that I brought up to our buddy, and he's known as a bettor, and he put some odds on whether or not you guys would know something like this. So an interesting fact that I learned recently is something that we use in everyday conversation, but it reverts back to the Wild West. And did you know that the reason that it's called a shot of liquor is because in the bartering system back in the day, they would cost one bullet to put for a drink of liquor. And so that became known as a shot of whiskey or rum or whatever, because that was the going rate. It was one bullet for that shot of whiskey.
I had no idea.
Zero idea.
All right. He gave me 10-1 odds that you guys would not know.
What a die.
Yep. He got it.
He finally won a bet.
He finally won a bet.
That's what he needed. That's just we're off. United States Dart Championships. Here we go.
He's on a streak.
Snakes, would you say that's your final thought?
That's my final thought. So this shot's for you, Ort.
We are going to send it right over to Andy for your final thought on episode 8.
Well, as always, put your shopping carts away. I think, that's all I got.
Okay. Perfect. One card at a time.
That's right. That's all it takes. One card at a time.
Profound as that. From me, thank you as always for listening. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast. Make sure to click on the bell notification.
Ding, ding.
Yeah, we love doing this. For those of you that have listened before, if you're new to it, we love doing this. We put them out every week, and we just talk about whatever's out there, whatever's new, whatever's current. Sometimes we go to older stuff. Mac Robinson, old.
Oh yeah, way back.
Sometimes we bring it to somewhat current from our generation. Marty McFly and the Dude. And then we bring it to current day Lollapalooza with Jake learning how to do a social media viral dance. He's already practiced. This is awesome.
Yeah, I want
we will put that up. But as always, Instagram, we're at Roodimentary Podcast. You can reach us through email at rudimentarypodcast@gmail.com. Facebook, the page is up. And pretty soon, the TikTok to where we can post things.
This might be the first one.
Yeah, should be.
It should be. Thank you, as always, everybody, for joining us. We will see you next time on the Roodimentary Podcast.